The second module in Mothers and Babies is the Thoughts module. And the Thoughts module really speaks to this idea of our inner reality, or the idea that our thoughts can affect our mood. So in the same way that engaging in pleasant activities can affect our mood, we first make the point in the curriculum that thoughts can affect our mood. So we define thoughts as ideas, plans, pictures, or opinions that are formed in your mind. And we also make the point that, again, thoughts can affect our mood. For some clients, this idea that thoughts affecting our mood might be a little bit less intuitive. One of the strategies that we encourage facilitators to use is to draw parallels to the pleasant activities module and make the point that in the same way that doing pleasant activities can affect your mood, your thoughts can affect your mood, and really setting up for clients the idea that in the same way that changing pleasant activities by doing more pleasant activities can affect your mood, you can also change your thought patterns so that your thoughts then can affect your mood. We talk about a distinction in thoughts as being either helpful thoughts or harmful thoughts. And that is an important point to emphasize as well because, again, the thought module may be slightly less intuitive for some clients receiving mothers and babies, and making sure that there is a clear understanding that there are different types of thoughts that we may have. Helpful thoughts are things that are uplifting, supportive, helpful for us, while harmful thoughts might be things that bring us down, make us feel a little bit more upset or angry. So understanding the fact that there are helpful thoughts and harmful thoughts is an important starting point with the thought module. In particular, making sure that clients understand that harmful thoughts are things that can bring your mood down. Helpful thoughts are things that can enhance your mood is a point that we emphasize. And from this discussion around helpful and harmful thoughts, we then set the stage for thinking about different strategies that clients might be able to engage in to stop their harmful thoughts from affecting their mood. After we make the distinction between helpful thoughts and harmful thoughts and make the point that harmful thoughts can bring our mood down, we then shift to really trying to provide specific, concrete skills or strategies for helping clients stop harmful thoughts from spreading. We talk in the curriculum about this idea of antidotes as a way to stop harmful thoughts from spreading in the same way that you might use an antibiotic to stop an infection from spreading. So in talking about harmful thoughts in the curriculum, we first talk about 4 specific types of harmful thought patterns that many of us have and give definitions of those harmful thought patterns. Those are all or nothing thinking, overgeneralization, blaming oneself, and negative fortune telling. We talk about those in the curriculum. Facilitators will have brief discussions with clients about those harmful thought patterns. And the idea is to really try to get clients to understand those common harmful thought patterns, to get clients to think about whether or not they actually fall prey to some of those harmful thought patterns from time to time. One of the points that we emphasize is that many of us may gravitate to one particular harmful thought pattern, and that's really useful for us to know, whereas some of us might actually have a few of these harmful thought patterns that creep into our heads from time to time. So one of the first things that we emphasize in talking about harmful thought patterns is getting folks to recognize which harmful thought patterns they may in fact have in their own lives. And from there, we then go into the discussion of the different antidotes or approaches for stopping those harmful thought patterns from spreading. As an example, in the curriculum, when we talk about all or nothing thinking, we encourage facilitators to use plenty of examples. Examples that may be from a client's own life or thinking about examples from the life of a friend or a family member. So as an example, somebody may say in response to not getting a job that they applied for, that they are, quote, a failure. Well, thinking about themselves as a failure in this particular instance is really related to the fact that they maybe didn't get the job that they applied for. It is very specific to that instance in their life. But there are plenty of other things going on in that client's life that perhaps they are not failures at. So are they a failure at being a good partner, a good friend, a good neighbor, a good congregant at the church that they go to? So really getting folks to not just end the sentence, I'm a failure, period, end of story, but to think more generally about all the different aspects of their life where they may have had success, is one way of combating that all or nothing thinking. Another harmful thought pattern that we talk about is blaming oneself. The example that we provide in the curriculum is that some parents may be hard on themselves. They may blame themselves if their baby falls down, bumps their head, skins their knee. And we point out in the curriculum that the fact that baby fell down and bumped his head, skinned his knee, is something that maybe happened to you, but it's also happened to hundreds, if not thousands, if not millions of other parents over the course of time. And to think about blaming yourself for this thing that happened to your child is probably not the most realistic way to think about this event. There are other specific strategies for how an individual may be able to reduce harmful thoughts. So after we talk about the antidotes to harmful thought patterns, we also provide more skills for clients in the curriculum and provide 4 specific strategies for addressing harmful thoughts. Those 4 specific strategies are thought interruption, worry time, time projection, and self-instruction. And in the curriculum, we provide specific examples of what those strategies are and how they might be used by a client to try to get them to stop having harmful thoughts influence their mood in a negative way. One of the points that we emphasize in the curriculum, not just in the thought module, but throughout the entire Mothers and Babies curriculum, is to think about Mothers and Babies as a skills-based curriculum, and to think about the fact that we are providing you, the client, with a set of skills that you can use at appropriate times in your life. So for some clients, the strategies that we provide here in the thought module are strategies that they are going to hear about and think are really useful and be able to put those into practice. And that's exactly what we want. For some clients, they're going to hear about a specific strategy in the thought module. They may try it out and it may not work for them. And that is also okay. What we want folks to do is to understand different skills that are going to work for them and keep going back to those skills that are working for them. So at the end of the day, the message is not given to the client that you have to use all of these skills all of the time, but really to think about which of these skills is working best for you. And we encourage the client while they are working with a facilitator, whether it is the group module or the one-on-one module of Mothers and Babies, to really use that time where you are with your facilitator to be able to think about how these skills are working for you and debrief with your home visitor or early childhood professional about how these skills are working for you as you are practicing them at home. At the end of the day, what we want is we want folks to be comfortable using some skills that feel right for them and not feel like it's overwhelming to have a whole set of options presented to them, but really gravitate towards those that they feel are working best for them. So one strategy for addressing harmful thoughts that a client may have is the idea of using worry time. And the rationale behind the worry time strategy is that many individuals who are stressed have that stress overwhelm them throughout the day. So they are stressed all day, anxious all day. And what happens in a situation like that is that mom or the expectant mom is not going to be as present as she needs to be with other individuals in her life, her partner, her friends, and ultimately when she has her baby, she may not be as present with her baby and may not be interacting with her baby as fully as she needs to, if that stress, if that worry is permeating her day. So the idea behind worry time is to try to compartmentalize the worry so that instead of being anxious all day or stressed all day, mom is thinking about finding a time during the day where she is compartmentalizing the worry, thinking about the different things that are stressful in her life, so that during the other times of the day, she is able to be more present, attentive, engaged with others in her life, including her child or her children. We also talk in the thought module about how thoughts can affect our futures. We do a visualization activity in the curriculum where we ask clients to think about their lives in the future. And the time period can be a month, 6 months, 1 year, 5 years. The idea is to get folks to think about where do they want their lives to be? Where do they want their babies' lives to be, or other children's lives to be in the future as well? And the reason that this is integrated into the thought module is the idea that the thoughts that we may have may lead us to action or inaction in certain ways. If we have certain ideas for what we want our life to be or what we want our children's lives to be, that will help us think about concrete steps, actions that we could be taking to try to get to those goals. We acknowledge in doing the visualization activity that there are also some obstacles that may impede our ability to get to those goals. And that's also an important part of the visualization activity, to think about not only where you want to go, but what some of the barriers might be that would get in the way, so that you can start planning for how to address some of those obstacles. Again, the idea with thinking about thoughts for your future is to get a client to think about where they want their own lives to be headed. And in doing that, what we found is some clients, many clients, maybe don't think on a regular basis or on an active basis about what they want for their future. It's natural to think that many of the clients that we are working with are caught up in sort of our day-to-day realities, our day-to-day lives. And this visualization activity gives the space, gives the time for clients to have a few minutes to think about what they want for their futures, what they want for their babies' futures. So in that sense, this visualization activity is a nice way of stepping back, having a few minutes to not think about the day-to-day of one's own life, but to really start to plan for what you want your future to look like.